And the idea is most people go through their whole jiu-jitsu lives with a satisficing mindset. And what I want to do in this video is change people's perceptions and make them understand that you can bring in a maximizing mindset on a surprising number of occasions. Am I saying only use the maximizing mindset? Absolutely not. As I said, there's plenty of times when we use the satisficing approach. But why not augment it with this new approach, new philosophy, especially if it costs you nothing more, okay? And think about this now. Imagine two athletes fighting each other, okay? And they're very evenly matched. So that when athlete A makes an attack on athlete B and fails, athlete B comes back hard a few minutes later with his own attack, and they attack each other 1-for-1 over the course of a 10-minute match, okay? They get a certain number of submissions over the course of that match. What if one of those athletes, let's say athlete B, every time he got out of a submission hold, directly attacked the other guy? Then at the end of the match, he would have twice the number of attacks as the other guy, because he's not only attacking when he's on the attack, but he's attacking when the other guy's on the attack. And what you find is very quickly when you adopt this approach, the number of submissions you attempt per 10-minute period doubles or triples.
Yeah, I think even for the spectator,
it's much more exciting.
It's much more exciting to watch. And then I think like a perfect example of that is Garry Tonon, right? So
fine example.
Yeah, many times he doesn't even win the tournament, but in the end of the day, everybody's talking about the match that he did. So I think and also talking about him, I think he's the perfect example about the guy who escapes and connects the submission like right away.
And it's scary to fight against. Yeah. You feel like every time you do something good, you're getting punished by this.
Well, John, and I'm so excited that you were teaching escapes now, because every time I talk with Gordon and I ask him like why he's so confident about his jiu-jitsu and this and that, he doesn't mention his attacks. He mentioned his escapes. He's like, man, I'm so confident that if I get in any spot, I can get out and put my opponent in a bad spot. That why should I be scared about anybody?
A big part of my training program comes down to psychology. This is something I've never really talked about in videos. That people talk all the time about confidence, and you see that sports psychologists, and they have their little methods of bringing confidence to athletes. And I always kind of shrug my shoulders when I see this, because in truth, the only thing which truly makes a jiu-jitsu player confident is their escapes. Why? Because if you truly believe in your heart of hearts, no one can pin you and no one can submit you. You'll take any risk you want, okay? Humans, by their very nature, are typically loss averse, okay? Losing something scares us more than the prospect of fighting hard to win something. When someone has gotten into the mounted position, they're afraid of losing it and will take risks to keep it. Risks that we can use to submit them. They get overextended. They're averse to loss. But in addition to loss aversion, most human beings have fear of risk. Okay? And what are the greatest risks in jiu-jitsu? The biggest risks are very simple: getting pinned and getting submitted. Okay? Submitted is the worst, and pinned's not far behind. Usually the two are linked. You can normally get pinned and then submitted. So when we go out into a match and you're looking at the other guy and you're thinking like, how's this guy going to beat me? It's going to come down to his ability to pin you and submit you. That's what you're most worried about. But if you believe in your heart of hearts, there's not a human being on the planet that can pin you or submit you. You're going to come out there and fire all of your guns right at them. You're going to take risks that most people wouldn't take. And you see this with Garry and Gordon. They just believe no one can ever get a submission hold on them. And, in the vast majority of cases, they're correct. And as a result, they just come out with guns blazing and take risks that most people shy away from. The psychology of building confidence, not by, some kind of crazy visualization or meditation or any other crazy stuff like this, but rather by just hard physical training and escape skills until they just fully believe there's no one alive who's going to pin me or submit me. Then, dude, when they go out onto the stage, it's just...
I think it would be also the same thing, John, if the guy is a boxer, but he truly believes that the other one can't punch his face. So,
I mean, what makes you hold back from punching someone? The fear of getting hit.
Yeah.
But if you believe this guy can never hit me, I'll be in a position or a stance where he can't hit me, dude, you'll throw punches all day.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Same thing with Jiu-Jitsu. And so this has been the emphasis in the pin escape. So we're showing not just how to get out, but also, perhaps most importantly of all, how to turn every escape into an immediate counterattack.
Yep.
There's a heavy emphasis on going into immediate counterattacks. The basic division that we're making here, Bernardo, is that there are 5 major pins in the sport of Jiu-Jitsu: side control, north-south, knee on belly, mount and rear mount, and we're dividing them into leg-based pins and arm-based pins. Okay, so for example, the mount would be a leg-based pin. Why? Because his legs control my hips. Okay, side control, his legs have no contact with me. It's an arm-based pin. Okay, and our basic intention is, in the case of arm-based pins, our first attacks should be into our training partner's arms. Okay.
Yep.
In the case of leg-based pins, because his legs are around me, the most vulnerable point of his body will be his legs. And that should be our primary focus when we come out of these kinds of pins. Okay. So our basic intention is arm-based pins. You come out and you attack the arms. Leg-based pins, you come out and you attack the legs.
Oh, John, and just yesterday, I asked you one question that fascinates me a lot, and was exactly about this. So I asked you, like, because everybody talks about how you taught like 12 private lessons in one day from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then I asked, like, how were your private lessons? Because my first question was like, Joe, how did you develop this scientist mind that you have? And then you said that was in the private lessons, you would always roll with the students and you didn't have UK on every single private lesson.
Yeah.
And then you told me that the way you would roll with your students in the private lessons was letting them start in the mount, in the side control, and you had to get out and connect on submission as quick as possible. So that's pretty much this instruction, right?
Far back into my teaching history. I basically taught privates all day, every day, for like a decade and a half, and always. I was never a guy until my hip replacement finally ended this. I always did my privates with the student. I never had another person fill in and do work for me. It was always me working. And as a result, I had an extraordinary amount of time just feeling the positions, what was strong about them, what was weak about them. And when we did live rolling, which was every class, I would always start in positions of extreme disadvantage. And it wouldn't be fair, like you can't go with a blue belt or a purple belt and start neutral. You've got to give them something to work with. And I was able to map out numerous ways of going directly from very poor positions directly into submission counterattacks. And this kind of history in my teaching is reflected in this video.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, John. And just to finish, I was very, very impressed with like how many submissions you can find from these very bad spots.
It's quite shocking.
I saw you doing like triangles, omoplata, the straight arm lock, heel hooks, leg locks. That was amazing to watch.
Yeah. You will see that there are patterns. They go in certain directions. There's a guiding philosophy, but there are many manifestations of those guiding philosophies. And it's quite shocking the first time you go against someone who exudes this kind of spirit of always attacking you. You go with Garry, Tonon or Gordon the first time and they let you get mounted on them, and then 10 seconds later you're fighting for your life out of a heel.
Yeah, no, we were also yesterday on dinner just talking about like how dangerous might be to compete against someone like that. Because even if you're winning by 15-0 and you are on side control, you're on the mount, you can always get tapped.
You can get You never feel safe with someone like that. You feel like you've done all this work, you're ahead by a comfortable margin, and then suddenly you're tapping. And ultimately that's what counts. And if it costs you no more than just putting them back in guard, why not do it?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Yeah, so guys, if you guys have been watching the no-gi scene lately, that's one thing that I think differentiates your guys from everybody else. That it's the level of escapes and level of connection to submissions from the escapes. So, guys, the first instruction from the New Wave Jiu-Jitsu series is all about that, from positional situations, right, John?
Yes.
Not from submission to
Yes.
submission.
The second video will be about going from submission holds
to submission.
So you're counterattacking their submissions with your submissions.
Yeah.
And basically the whole idea is to generate with New Wave Jiu-Jitsu a generation of Jiu-Jitsu players who play a very attacking, positive game of Jiu-Jitsu. Okay?
Yeah.
In my time in Jiu-Jitsu, I want as much as I can to remove that overly conservative element in Jiu-Jitsu where people do the minimum amount to win.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say, Bernardo, no one joined up at Jiu-Jitsu school with the ambition of winning matches by advantage.
I agree.
No one on their first day in Jiu-Jitsu saying, I want to come in and learn how to win by advantage. Okay, that has no appeal to anyone. Okay, people came in because the magic of Jiu-Jitsu is you get to control people and make them submit to you.
I agree. 100%.
That's the appeal.
Yeah.
And so my goal as a coach is to push the sport as far as I can in that direction, because the real magic of Jiu-Jitsu is control that leads to submission. That's why all of us do it. That's why all of us are passionate about it. No one's passionate about winning by the minimum amount possible.
No, I agree.
Now, in competitions, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Okay?
Yeah.
But it's not the goal. And this kind of approach of always looking to control leading to submission, and the flip side of that, denying the other guy control over you and heading to submission, which is what this video is about, that's very, very dear to my heart.